Yeah, man. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Football Artists. It's actually, additional channel to Daily Money Market. We are actually, talking about football and what's going on in terms of the sports, and again, what's going on in terms of the football game. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting when it comes to the whole week and what happened in terms of, football. So we're gonna start on the top of the range in terms of the beginning of last week all the way to this week in terms of how the football is actually running or what is going on in terms of the football at the moment. So right now, I think the biggest news, the biggest topic that I actually seen on the beginning of the week, it was actually Tiger Woods. So Tiger Woods with Nike, they ended partnership. The partnership that actually lasted for over 27 years, guys. 27 years. Tiger Woods and Nike, they had that partnership. Actually, this partnership started in 1996. That's way long back. That's way long back, 1996. They actually, on the beginning, they signed a deal of 5-year deal. So after they see that no, Tiger Woods is being, great ambassador when it comes to Nike products, that's where they extended the deal from 5 years to all the way 27 years, which is ended last week, last week, in fact. To the total deal, he makes $616 million, $616 million worth of the deal of 27 years. So very, very interesting. And I actually saw Tiger Woods doing the playing golf for casual golf. He was playing with another gentleman. They actually schooled him in terms of golf. He was kneel down, swipe the stick and hit the golf. It was very, very interesting. In terms of this week, how golf was actually performing, and the Tiger Woods story. From there, the other interesting news, I think it's a sad news. I saw one of the legend of rugby actually passed away. It was Mr. William, passed at the age of 74 years old, and we saw all powerhouses of rugby sending the condolences, actually saying that you know this player, they wish they can be able to have a certain player like Mr. Williams he was when he was playing rugby from Norway. So coming from South Africa, they send the condolences in terms of the rugby powerhouse. Australia, they did the same. So it is very, very sad story and sad week in terms of losing the rugby legend, and as well as losing a player, the football legend as well, from German phrase, right? Died also last week, from 1945. He born in 1945, or they were passed on 2024. So those are the sad story in terms of the sports game, in terms of the legends of the sports, leaving us, for this week. Sad, sad, sad. But very interesting news that I saw again this week. It's Fenerbahce, which it's actually eyeing on Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial is actually playing currently in Manchester United. He hasn't been, really finding the game, or really finding what you call, the game time with the Erik ten Hag coach at the moment. So Fenerbahce is actually eyeing on that. We also saw recently the deal of Jordan Sancho going to Borussia Dortmund. That was really, really interesting, because of, if you follow the stories of Jordan Sancho and the coach Erik ten Hag, they've been going to each other for a very long time. Some people, they said Erik ten Hag actually lost the dressing room, and he cannot be able to communicate with the players properly. Some analysts, sports analysts, they will say Jordan Sancho was too harsh to go on Twitter or X, actually talking about the coach. So it's been over 6 months that we are seeing all this trouble between Jordan Sancho and Erik ten Hag, coach of Manchester United. Of course, Manchester United, they go through in terms of changes. The last videos also we're talking about the new management that they come in Manchester United. They are actually shaking things up. So the interesting part, Jordan Sancho left to Borussia Dortmund, but he only signed not a permanent contract deal. So they only signed a temporary contract deal whereby they are not selling Sancho to Borussia Dortmund. They're actually loaning him, with a fee on top. So that's most interesting part. So pretty much what I'm thinking is that means Sancho is gonna come back to Manchester United. But now, if he come back to Manchester United and find the same coach, is it possible that he will play under the same coach? So two things must happen. Sancho can come back, but coach will end up to leave, to find another, venture somewhere there. So that's actually about Jordan Sancho moving to Borussia Dortmund, and where we're expecting him to come back, because that's the his club that actually started blowing up in terms of football game. It was from Borussia Dortmund. So we are really 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 anticipating to see Jordan Sancho actually starting making come back again in a game and start performing perfectly, bringing the results, bringing the type of football that everyone was expecting that Jordan Sancho will bring. So that's what actually is cooking in terms of Manchester United and Jordan Sancho. We're also seeing Thierry Henry speaking about, he's been playing at Arsenal with a depression. Uh, Players, they don't come out and spoke about the depression that they're going through when they're playing. Recently, we saw Lila Foster from Burnley actually, going through, through the depression, and Burnley as a club supporting, supporting what exactly is going through, making sure that he get better, he get mental strength, give him all the support. We actually saw Bafana dropping, one of the best striker currently right now in South Africa who is playing abroad, which is the player that we are talking about, from the striker from Benley, Fosler, Laila Fosler. So Henry spoke about it. He was in another podcast. He was talking about how he's been playing, with a depression, because when you are playing at higher level, the problem with that you can meet up with, it's the depression. People everywhere you go, people they're looking at you, people they want you to produce the results, people they want you to play perfectly, each and every game, whether you are going through some other stuff or not, but what they want is for them, for you to actually play and bring a perfect result. So Thierry Henry breakdown explain the depression side, how he's been playing in a depression. So if you want to go through about that, you can google it and you can see the whole story of Thierry Henry. So yeah, man, the other interesting part that I'm really 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 excited, man, is the Africa Cup of the Nation, man. Africa Cup of the Nation has begun. We saw the first game. We saw the first game already, which is it was playing Cote d'Ivoire against Guinea-Bissau. To those who actually love the football, Africa football, I'm sure definitely you watch that game. It was late night game and very interesting, very 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 interesting. What catches my attention is the legends that they were in the stadium. We saw Spiwe Shabalala, on the stadium, watching this opening game. We saw players like Alhaji Diop, he was in the stadium. Actually, I hear the commentators, they were saying Alhaji Diop, whenever you meet with Alhaji Diop, he always tells you he's the only player that actually win Africa Cup of the Nation twice, back to back. It was that team of Senegal of Alhaji Diaf. So Alhaji Diaf was very very exciting to see all these players that I was watching them when I was young. We saw Solomon Kalou. We saw Solomon Kalou come, on a stage. We saw the president of FIFA, man, the president of FIFA and the president of CAF sitting down, watching the game. Something is cooking, right? I don't know if the next two World Cup if he's not gonna come back to Africa. Because this president of FIFA and Africa, damn man, he likes Africa, man. Every time when there's something in Africa, he'll be there. He'll be. It's different with other president of FIFAs that we had. They were not visiting Africa. They'll visit Africa once in a while, maybe if there's a World Cup or something big. But this one, this president is actually on top of his game. It's visiting Africa, introducing more games in Africa, pumping on a lot of money in Africa Cup of the Nation and other leagues, in Africa, developing in terms of building facilities, to bring the world class facilities here in Africa. So that's really really interesting. After seeing Mr. Fantino there as the president of FIFA, and again seeing the president of CAF, Mr. Motsepe, he was there. Who else did I see? Asamoah Gyan was there in the stands. Tico Tico. Tico Tico was there as well. Tico Tico is one of the greatest legends that played for Mozambique, for Republic of Mozambique. If you remember those games on 890s, Tico Tico, captain of Mozambique, was a trouble man. And, if you were playing against Tico Tico, you knew that now we are actually playing with the Republic of Moza. So yeah, man, very interesting. The game itself, it was really 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 cool to watch. The tactic of the game. We saw Cote d'Ivoire actually, in 4 minutes scoring the goal through Fofana. Obviously, great players that they were playing, at Cote d'Ivoire. Fofana is one of the big, greatest players. Been playing in the English Premier League. Now he's gone to Saudi, to play in Saudi. So we saw a lot of players that are playing in Saudi, coming in and actually, participating and playing. Very very beautiful goal from Fofana there, and then they score another one from another striker from Cote d'Ivoire. What interesting me, and the story about what actually catch my attention, it's when they bring in Nicolas Pepe, right? Nicolas Pepe, it was actually the promising star that the whole Africa is waiting to see what Nicolas Pepe can actually produce. And we saw Pepe coming in, try to do his things, trying to do his dribbling so that he can get a goal, but it was not his day. Pretty much, to be honest, we're still waiting to see how good he can be, because the time that he signed to Arsenal, he was really really performing. He was really really fantastic. So we just want to see how good he can become. And now he's no longer playing in a big team. He went to the smaller league and smaller team. He's playing in Turkey, which is really really disappointing, to us as a football fans that would like to see these players to play at a top notch. We would like to see these players to play at really 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 top notch. So yeah, man, that's Africa Cup of the Nation has started, and we're going to see again tomorrow, which is Sunday. We're going to see more games. I think Nigeria is playing tomorrow as well, around 2 or 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock, I said there's also Egyptians. We're going to see more Salah, at homeland, so that we can see how these guys perform overseas and how they're gonna perform here at homeland. That's always a case and always a debate, right? That these players, these best players, when they're playing in overseas, they play perfect. But when they come to Africa, they don't want to give the whole 100% or even 90% in a game. I think yesterday, when we're watching the game of the opening match of Africa football, also there was a conversation of Wilfred Zaha from Cote d'Ivoire, which is not selected at all. He's not on the game, nothing. It hasn't been selected. And now the issue was that every time when Wilfred Zaha playing in England, or now he's playing or whether Spain or France, he performs perfectly. He has the attitude of the game. He pushes the players. He makes sure he carry his team and actually put them to the front. But come when he play in Africa, when he come home and play for the national team, he actually only show 20-30% that it brings on a game. So if you are a coach and you are actually want to win, a coach who are actually really really would like to win, why would you take a player uh, that he only gives 20% of his game? So that's the actually the issue that we are having in terms of Wilfred Zaha. That's why he hasn't been selected for Cote d'Ivoire. They select the young players. So yeah, man, the most exciting it's Africa Cup of the Nation at the moment, and I would like everyone who's watching here to also keep watching Africa Cup of the Nation so that we can have a perfect conversation. So yeah, that's about the top of the range news that happen in terms of football. We have seen English Premier League. I think it's on hold. There was a FA Cup that we were playing. Chelsea performed really really good. They actually won the game. We saw Arsenal get kicked out of the Carabao Cup versus Liverpool. Liverpool they win 2-0. My team Arsenal, it's bad, man. I won't lie, it's bad. But apparently I saw them, on Dubai, enjoying their holiday, trying to get the training in Dubai. Another interesting part of Arsenal is that we saw Thomas Partey actually getting in fitness training and is preparing to come back in a game. We saw also Julian Timber training as well. I think maybe one more month we'll see Julian Timber to come back. So as Arsenal fans, we're just hoping that these guys that can come back and be able to assist the team and make sure that the team it actually win. Oh, actually bring back the glory, man. Bring back the glory to the Gunners. So yeah, that's about the Arsenal. And what else did I see? Man City won as well on the FA. So it's gonna be very very interesting in terms of the final game of Carabao Cup. I think we're expecting maybe Chelsea versus Liverpool. That's what we're expecting in terms of the final there. But yeah, we'll keep watching. We'll keep watching. We'll keep seeing these things and bring back to you guys, explain to you guys so that we can see again. The transfer window is open. The January transfer window is actually open. That's why we saw players like Jordan Sancho moving to Borussia Dortmund. Arsenal as well. We are eyeing whether we can get at least one striker, a danger man. Whether we should watch Africa Cup and see which one we can buy a danger man and bring it to our squad. We saw Chelsea also, they've been spending a lot of money to build up their team. So, we don't know if they're going to be able to get in a market again. But if they want to get in a market, that means they have to sell some of the players so that they can have money. Newcastle United struggling with injuries, couple of players they're struggling, they're injured. I think Newcastle United is the one that actually having the heaviest struggle in terms of the injury. So yeah, man, that's it in terms of the football at it for this week.